Bass head. Alright, let's do this.
I'm on the air, we got this pockets flow. It's me and Tony on the mics, we gotta let you know of current events, little gaming, sprinkle in some entertainment. We stay humble, but our moms still think we're famous. Turn up the bass and baby, maybe let that magic flow. Our spoken word is all the things you really wanna know. Having a good time on the show, T-Bows and Matty G. Tune in and hit subscribe and join us on the FAP.
Welcome, everyone, to the Freaking Awesome Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Bowes, and unfortunately, Matty G could not join us today, but that's all right, because today's guest is going to make up for more than that and a little bit more. Today, we have the lead singer, guitarist, frontman of The Lonely Ones, Marty McCoy. Marty, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
Doing wonderful. I see you've changed venues during the brief intro.
I did. My signal is going out, so hopefully this is better.
Yeah, no, it seems really good.
Is it better?
Yep, we're still got you. I feel like it's like a Verizon commercial nowadays. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Excellent. So before we kind of get going, let's just a brief history, of course, of yourselves. You were originally part of the band Boba Flex, correct?
I was, yeah. Myself, Jimmy, Tommy, and Jake were all members of Boba Flex. My brother decided that he wanted to be home and be a dad full time, and that he was tired of missing volleyball games and piano recitals and things like that, and decided that he wanted to stay home. And the rest of us, we respected that, as devastating as it was. And then we decided, after pacing around parking lots on our last tour as Boba Flex, that we wanted to continue. It didn't make sense to call the band Boba Flex without Sean. So we decided that we would start something new and see what happens. And it was scary for a minute. And then it kind of got exciting. And then we wrote a whole record. And as we were getting ready to hit the road, this thing called COVID-19 hit and stopped everything for about a year. So it's been an interesting first couple hurdles.
I no doubt is a kind of a rough start to things, but it's nice because you already have that the background and history with Boba Flex. So I'm sure a lot of the fans that are out there that are still looking forward to listening to you guys play are just eagerly awaiting the tour, right?
Absolutely. So we did get lucky enough to have the experience and a pretty large fan base that most of them came along with us. So, instead of starting at square one, we got to start at square five. And the other cool thing that came with it was in the industry, as far as the industry goes, people are like, who's this new band? So we kind of got the best of both worlds. So it's, you never know how it's going to work out, what's going to happen, but it seems like, it was the right move.
Yeah, for sure. And so actually, before we dive in a little bit more, I've got a little bit of our news today. And of course, this is some news from around the world that honestly, you can't believe it's real. But have you ever gotten to the point, of course, with you being as a band and on the road, you start a relationship, and then, of course, you're always curious, what's that person like when maybe you're gone? And today's news was actually is out of the UK, where a boyfriend, of course, was on the road and working, and he came home to find out that his girlfriend had been cheating on him in one of the most peculiar ways ever. And this went viral on the internet. So what happened is he came home, everything was normal. He went to go to the bathroom. He lifted the toilet seat and found a note taped under the rim of the toilet seat, to which he had said, the note said, "Hey man, I was just with this girl last night and totally found out after the fact that she was actually already in a relationship. I would have wanted to know, so unfortunately I'm passing this news on to you. And then I don't really like the way this is happening, but I thought you should know. Sorry about that."
My goodness.
So imagine, first of all, finding that note, but I really give the guy who left the note credit that he was thinking, where can I leave this guy a note where she's not going to find it? And
That's
it was
quite clever, yeah.
under the toilet seat.
Put the toilet seat down and go, well, that's come back to bite you.
Right.
That's very clever. I've never had that happen to me, but I appreciate, if it was happening to me, I'd like to know about it.
Yeah. So I give the guy a lot of credit. I feel
would
like
never find the note. I would never find a note because I just pee on top of the toilet seat. I'd never lift it up. So
Just go right.
got a lot
That's
to learn.
someone else's job to clean.
Yeah, I've got a lot to learn in relationships, I'm guessing.
Yeah, one of the first things you learn once it gets serious is that you lift the toilet seat and you put it back down. So
good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. So the next article I had today, and this takes us over to Germany, and this one's a little bit more of on our riskier side. So listeners, if you're around your kids, you might want to put in some earphones. What this was on April 26th, a woman was jogging through the woods in southeastern Germany near the town of Sonnen, and suddenly had noticed a strange thing that stopped her dead in her tracks. What she'd seen on the side of the path was an old plastic bag, and inside which looked exactly like a grenade. She, of course, was extremely concerned for her safety and that of others, so she didn't hesitate to call the police on her mobile. They showed up, including the full-blown bomb disposal unit, to which, after they approached the bag and went inside, they quickly returned with, of course, a big smile on their face to find out that it was not a real grenade, but actually a large butt plug that was, of course, shaped like a grenade.
Yeah, it's called the grenade.
Oh, you're familiar with this?
I mean, I've done some online searches in my time.
Well, needless to say, everybody, of course, had a hearty chuckle, and they could say that everything was safe in the area, except for maybe one or two rectums.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
I'm glad she did her due diligence. She called the police, and the Polizei, I believe they're called in Germany. Nobody got hurt. So yeah, it's a great story. She found the grenade.
The grenade, not just a grenade, the grenade.
Yeah.
So look at that. I'm learning something a little bit, not only from the article, but apparently from web browser searches. Do you have one of those post-mortem wills that says that if anything ever to happen to me, please clear my browser history?
No, I don't. I don't really look at anything crazy. I'm pretty boring. I read Apple News. I do some social media things, and then I really try to put my phone down as much as possible these days. Through the pandemic, I'm sick of looking at this thing. I've watched the Tiger King like everybody else. I saw all the weird QAnon crazy stuff, and just thought, you know what, this thing's evil. Putting it down.
That's good. It's good. I'm trying to unplug more and more, and I'm actually quite lucky that outside of my house is absolutely horrible signal. So unless I'm in the house where the Wi-Fi is plentiful, I can't really use my phone that much. So I'm lucky that way.
That is lucky. Yeah. Just, like I said, through the pandemic and everything, I just saw how evil people got when you take away concerts. Not that it was anybody's fault. Taking away concerts and restaurants and movies and all that stuff, and people don't have their way to release their energy and their long work weeks and all that stuff. They start to just really turn on each other, and I saw enough of it after a while. I was like, I'm putting this thing down. I'm gonna go outside and stand at least 6 feet away from everyone, and just be in the woods and do certain things that I didn't want to get into the whole everyone's fighting online and calling each other racist or a libtard or whatever it was. Pick this side, pick that side. I have to be right about this, and I know everything. And I was just like, it's ugly. Never mind, forget it. So
it really has gotten crazy, hasn't it? Like, people have just it's almost like COVID brought the worst out of people, and I'm pretty sure like so many people, they're with their families, they love their families, but they never actually spent that much time in close quarters with their families, and realize that life isn't as good when you've got so many people crammed in a prison cell together. So
it was weird. It was definitely weird. Like at first it was. I remember how scary it was at first. It's still scary. It was still scary. The whole year was very bizarre. But I remember, when it first started, I kind of thought I had some insider information. They're like, they're going to lock the city down in the next few days. You should go to the grocery store right now. And I was like, haha, I'm ahead of the game. And I went to the grocery store and there's nothing on the shelves. It's like, I'm late. And I remember having this weird thought, like, this is going to be the beginning of The Walking Dead.
I wondered too.
Pretty much now. What the hell is going to happen? Fortunately enough, we have Amazon and Grubhub and things like that, and Netflix. So it wasn't as, as bad as I had initially thought when I was at the grocery store and all the shelves were empty. But yeah, it was scary. I mean, it continued to be. I remember thinking, they're talking about certain demographic of people that are at the biggest risk, and I was like, I was in bands since I was 17 years old, drinking gallons of liquor and smoking cigarettes and weed and doing blow off, trash can lids and stuff. I was like, they're talking about me. Hey, my drummer Tommy, they were talking about him too.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Tommy, the drummer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Everybody's just going to walk in.
Talking about me is like, healthy young people are going to be okay, but you did too many things in your life. You're going to pay for, which I'm sober now, but yeah, I thought this is going to catch up to me. And so, I did the whole thing where stayed in the house, stayed away from everybody and made sure that I washed my hands and for the first couple months, Lysoled everything down and just thought it was shit. I thought it was the end of the world for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess nothing's more sobering than that, right? You feel like it's going to be a little Walking Dead. You're like, man, I better get my shit together if I'm going to have to fight off everybody.
Yeah. I was like, I made sure I had all my ammunition and stuff. And it's like, I'm a pretty liberal guy, but I own guns and I'm from West Virginia, so it's an odd combination. So I wasn't really afraid of anyone coming through the windows or anything like that. I was like, well, they'll go back out the window.
That's right.
It'll just be very unpleasant.
It's not the window that's going to have a hole in it.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to do that. I'm not afraid that they're going to get in here and I won't know what to do. It's just like it'd just be very unpleasant the whole way around. But fortunately, like I said, I live in Columbus, Ohio now, and we were the first ones to lock down. And our people hate our governor, but I thought he did a really good job with what he had. So, some people hate him, some people like him. It's so split down the middle. Yeah. I mean, what do you do in a global pandemic where over 500,000 people are dead just in the United States? It's like you're going to make some decisions that looking back on, you're like, well, could have done this different, could have done that different kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think thank God I'm lucky. My parents are still good. I mean, I know some people that didn't come out of it, and I know some people that got really sick. But I got lucky, and my family got lucky. So I thank whoever you would thank for that.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. And you know what the beautiful thing about all this happening is it has brought people closer together in many different ways. Just imagine had the internet gone as well. The pandemonium that would have happened, right? I mean, at least with technology, everybody's still be able to see each other or talk to each other and make sure it's safe. Without that, I mean, it would have been like the Dark Ages again. So
I would totally agree. And I think because of this year, I think that I definitely realize that I need people and I like people and I like being around people and I like being at concerts and I'll never take anything for granted again. And I think I realized a lot of the things that, I did take for granted and the things that I miss, I'll never do that again. And I can't wait to be back in a field with, 10,000 people screaming at the stage and doing all that stuff. And I'll go see a polka band play on a Thursday night just to feel the kick hit me in the chest again. I'll never, ever on a Monday, like, well, I'm not going to go. It's Monday night. It's like, I'm going. Let's go.
Yeah, it'll be every night you can get out. That's safe. That it'll be worth it. So,
we lost a year. Everybody lost a year. I mean, everybody that survived lost a year.
Yeah,
There's people that lost a lot more than that. So I feel very fortunate.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a home renovations right now, and honestly, that's been great for keeping some sanity. Other than the fact that supply and demand has been a real hard issue, and the cost of lumber has been astronomical. So it's been really tough year. I mean, I thought
really
even though
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go.
It was really strange to see the ripple effect on every industry when when this thing happened. It's like I remember, I thought, we're screwed as musicians. That's over with for however long. And then the ripple effect just kept going and kept going. And people at radio, and then people that own venues, and then people that own restaurants, and then people that built fences for a living, or construction companies, and everything just shut down. And it was just watching it all just slowly fall apart. I guess quickly fall apart. It was a strange experience. I was like, this is wild, man. We were living on the razor's edge.
For sure. Now, that's a strange experience. That is a wonderful segue into the next thing I was going to say. So I've been posting across social media today because I was driving and listening to music and something blew my mind. And I was actually listening to The Lonely Ones. And here I'm hearing this amazingly familiar drum solo. And I'm like, wow, that's and then without even anything coming in, I'm like, Flash Gordon. I'm like, oh my God, someone covered it. Like I had to actually check my phone to be like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Has this gone over to Queen and I didn't know about it? I was like, well, that's very interesting. And so it blew my mind to find out the Lowly Ones had covered Flash Gordon. And it brought back a lot of amazing memories for me because I actually used to have the soundtrack back when, of course, bands used to do full soundtracks as opposed to them pulling in multiple artists. You know, you used to get occasionally one band who would do a full soundtrack for a movie or an album. And you know, the funniest thing is this is still one of my musical heartbreaks, actually, because when I was young, I had this on LP. And I was traveling to my cousin's house, and I threw it in the back window of the car where it was flat. And by the time we had gotten there and I pulled the album out, the sun warped it. So you couldn't actually listen to it anymore. And that was like, for an amazing original album, I had lost Flash. And I was really upset, of course, until, you know, the days where you could find it on YouTube or any other players. But it was just amazing to listen to the Lonely Ones cover of this, and it's so authentic in many ways. I had to ask you, like, how did this come about? Like, of all the covers, why did you guys go with Flash Gordon?
Well, I'm a huge Queen fan. I'm a huge Flash Gordon fan. I remember when the movie came out, and I've seen it probably, I don't know, 150 times.
Wow.
But it was the same thing when, you know, Queen was doing the soundtrack. So I was instantly in before I even saw the movie. And then our bass player, Jimmy, it was his idea. He was like, we have to do a covers, the Lonely Ones. We have to come out swinging. Everybody's doing covers right now. It's very saturated with covers. He said, but they still are a really great way to get your name in the door. He said, so we got to do something that just kind of silences the crowd, I guess. I said, cool. Yeah. I like where you're coming from. What are you thinking? He said, Flash Gordon by Queen. I was like, are you out of your mind? He's like, come on, man. You love the song. You know it all the way through. I go, yeah, but I'm the singer of the Lonely Ones, and Freddie Mercury is the singer of Queen. And this ain't adding up here, dude. And he was like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I was like, I don't think so. So he talked me into it. It took him about an hour and a half on the phone to talk me into it. And then once I said, all right, you know, kind of in a brat way, like, all right, fine, bucket, we'll do it. He hung up the phone and was like, oh my God, I can't believe you said yes. What are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? So it took us about a day and a half to really get the music locked down, because the strange thing about it's a movie soundtrack, so the tempo is all over the place. You know, this part of the movie it's very exciting, and this part of the movie gets kind of somber and slowed down. So the tempo flies all over the place. And every little change, down, 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 down. Those are all different all the way through. Some are down, 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 and it's like threes and fours and all over the place. So it took us about a day to lock that down. And then, you know, the big scary part was the vocals. So we just decided to break it down a cappella and do, okay, let's, you know, this is your strong suit. This is your strong suit, because we all sing. And we started to do the Flash a cappella, and it took about 30 seconds. And I was like, oh shit, that sounds pretty good.
Wow.
And then we refined it, but it was the Flash, that thing. It took about 30 seconds for us to kind of really lock into, you know, this is where you stay here, this is your range. And just, it didn't take very long. And I was like, we might be able to pull this off. This might actually happen. And then we went into the studio at Sweetwater Studios in Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is this big, massive, awesome place. And cut it there and brought it to Sonic Lounge Studios to mix it with my best friend Joe Veers at Sonic Lounge. And it was just the whole time I was like, I think we might have pulled this off. But you still get a little nervous when you get ready to put it out. I thought it sounded good, but I was waiting. The funny thing was, we knew that we would get a lot of people to listen to the song just because their initial thought was, well, let's listen to this pile of shit. There's no way anyone can cover this song. And a lot of people have told me, well, I listened to it to see how bad you were going to butcher it. And, you know, I thought you guys did a pretty good job. But the initial reason I hit play was to see how shitty you guys did a job of it. I was like, oh, thank you.
You're like, I don't know if this is a compliment or okay, you know, but you guys pulled it off amazingly. And I got to tell you, anybody who covers a Queen song, I mean, is gold in my books, because I mean, Freddie Mercury had such a high vocal range that almost like so few people can pull off. But you all came together, and it sounded so authentic that honestly, at first, I didn't know if it was Queen or you. Like I said, I had to look at my phone. I'm like, oh, And I even did a double like take. I'm like, okay, yeah, the Logan. I was like, wait a minute, did I read that right? and because it was so authentic, and it's I think only because did you guys do all the little in between captions as well, like the vocals from the movie? Yes,
we did all the vocals. We did all that stuff. The female voice was a friend of ours that wonderful person by the name of Ronnie Hunter that's worked at the Blitz radio station forever. She's a DJ, so she just has that vocal. I mean, she could just you put her on a microphone and she is a natural. So she did the female parts, and Jimmy and I did all the other stuff. But I'd seen the movie so many times, I knew exactly what I was doing.
You knew it from heart. Well, I mean, it's amazing because I think the only thing that didn't sound the same is, of course, when there's the King of the Hawk people, and he's saying his piece in the line. And because I remember watching originally the recording of this, where the band actually played around the movie screen, kind of watching it and trying to get the feel for things. So I mean, and then I think also there was a bit of kind of the green light from is it Brian?
Brian May said. Brian May gave us the thumbs up and said, so Sam J. Jones, who played Flash Gordon, actually heard it and sent it to Brian May. And Brian May's like, hey man, this is great. And I knew that he'd actually listened to it because he's like, oh, you guys actually did the hero and the reprise and everything. Instead of just like, yeah, great. Awesome job, guys. I mean, he listened to it. So we thought after that, was like, do we really need to say, I mean, do we like, what's your next cover song? I don't know if we even need to do anything. Brian May said it was good. Let's try to write some originals.
And now like
cool now.
Well, we're done. We did a one and done. You nail it on the first one, and it's amazing. Now, I mean, even just going back a little bit to, of course, Boba Flex. I mean, you guys also did some amazing covers of Pink Floyd and many other songs that I was just like, I mean, as far as covers alone, I mean, you guys could have such an amazing career because you guys do so many amazing recreations of the originals. Not to mention like your own original music, which is also fantastic. So I've been really fortunate actually recently to have a few people on the show.
Real quick, hang on a second.
No. There we go. We didn't bother lifting that, right?
Yeah, there's a note in here, so I'm going to read that out loud here shortly. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I got to tell you, like, I've been really fortunate in the last few, episodes to have some amazing musicians on the show that all of them, I'm just like, I would 100% recommend people putting them on their playlists, and the same goes for you guys, because all of your songs are amazing, and it just, I think listening to Flash was like the icing on the cake, where it's just like today my mind went and my day just went from like a 50% to 100% amazing. So it was really, really cool. Now,
thank you.
The other little thing
let me show you something real quick.
Sure.
Let me show you something real quick.
I mean, you're not going to drop the deuce and show us that one too, are you? So
I'm not. Say hi, everyone.
Hey, everybody, how you doing?
We're in the recording studio as we speak.
Just amazing. There you go, folks. You don't get to see that often.
Yeah, we're in Sonic Lounge Studios in Grove City, Ohio. It's one of the coolest places in the country. It's my home away from home, so it's where we create music. Absolutely
cool. So your guys are in the middle of working on some new pieces right now?
We're always we have like 22 songs finished, so we're just we had a year to do not touring, so we're just like, let's go to the studio, let's write, let's rehearse, let's do all this stuff, let's get ready when they finally open the floodgates. Let's come, like the strongest flood anyone's ever seen. So that's what we've been doing for heads down, work.
Yeah, for sure. There's a comment from Beth coming in earlier, just saying that I think the people would be a little bit more want face-to-face more now. It's true. A little bit catch up. Sorry, I guess looks like the prompt was a little behind. So you have another little bit of a claim to fame, if I remember correctly, and that you guys are direct descendants of the original McCoys.
Yeah, I didn't know what you were going to say. I was like, oh shit, he's going to find out about the grenade. I'm the one that made the grenade, and I patented it, and it's funded all of this. Being from West Virginia and being a McCoy, there's no way out of the lineage. but I mean, people always ask, is like, do you still hate Hatfields? Like, no, I've never hated Hatfields. It's over 100 and some years ago. We're all good. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. You know, like it got us into a lot of magazines and a lot of interviews when people didn't care about Bobaflex. They're like, as soon as Kevin Costner's movie came out, they're like, oh shit, let's talk to them now. So yeah, good. Good
That's
thing.
a great way of getting in.
Yeah, absolutely. Any way you can, get your foot in the door.
Right? Yeah.
Get in there.
You can segue right over to acting then at this point.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, who's going to turn you guys down? I mean, you just go walk into the next spaghetti western or something. You're like, come on, how much more authentic are you going to get here?
Need a young, long-haired redneck.
Right?
I'm your guy. Need a southern accent. I got you covered.
Yeah. And oh man, so we got a few other things that of course we want to ask you. I know you guys are in the about to do some recording, but I got a list of questions, and these are just for people to get to know you a little bit better. And again, if you're not 100% sure, or you can just pass on these things, but there is no wrong answer.
Awesome.
The first question is, what made up word would you register into the English language?
That's a good one. What made up word? So is a word that I made up?
Yeah, you just you bump your elbow one day and you say something, you're like, oh, that should be a word.
That's a good question. These are tough.
It gets easier from here.
I'm trying to think. I've made up several words. I'm just on the spot now and I can't think. Strategery. That's not mine. I don't know. That's a good question. Pass.
Okay. All right. We could take strategery as well.
I think that was George Bush's word.
Fair. What's the scariest dream you've ever had?
Gosh, I have nightmares. I haven't in about 2 years, but I used to have nightmares every single night. And when I read the dream book, it's because I clearly am afraid that I have taken the wrong career path. So I went to college. One of the scariest dreams I've ever had was the alien invasion dream.
Okay.
And I was in Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia, in the Marshall Stadium, and everyone was running like crazy. And I looked up, and there was a ship that blacked out the sky. And just for some reason, I had this ominous feeling that they were not here on a peaceful mission. And it was just kind of like just destruction and things blowing up everywhere. Somehow I didn't get killed, but everybody else did. And it was pretty horrifying. And I woke up. I remember waking up in a cold sweat and like freaking out and hyperventilating. And was so thankful that it was not real.
Wow, that's crazy. Is that like a reoccurring dream, or was that just one that you were just like, oh man, that was horrible?
Yeah, no, it's never happened again.
Okay, interesting. Wow.
My reoccurring dream is that we go on stage. There's a huge crowd, and someone in the band goes, "We're playing a song that I don't know. We're playing Stranglehold, or we're playing something." I'm like, "I don't know that song," and they're like, "Just play it anyway." And we end up messing up. I end up messing up the song, and everybody leaves and boos us, and that's my reoccurring dream.
Oh wow! Yeah,
it's never the same song, but it's always the same scenario.
Yeah, that'd be frightening in that career. All right, if you could have a superpower, which power would you like?
Man, that's a good one. I don't want to read anybody's mind because Facebook, I already know how to read everyone's mind. I don't like it very much. If I could have a superpower, I guess it would be to never lose a fight.
Okay.
Or, physical or mental, physical or argument, never lose. Always know the right answer. Always know the right move. Always, jig when I'm supposed to jig, and jag when I'm supposed to jag.
That's actually great. I don't think anybody's ever said that. That's unique. I like that one. What's
out a couple times? I've been knocked out a couple times. It ain't a pleasant feeling.
Yeah, I guess after that, you'd kind of like, there's got to be a way around this. If I ever got that superpower,
I'm not doing that again.
What's your earliest childhood memory?
So everyone laughs at me, but I remember being born.
Really? Okay. You're not the first person that said that. But yeah.
Yeah, I remember this. This is a true story. I remember being a year old in a tent with pneumonia. It was like the ET tent. I remember the back of my neck being wet and the hair on the back of my neck being wet and getting a shot and had pneumonia at one. Like I remember from I remember being born. People were like, that's not true. That's not true. Then I started getting into LSD and the people that like all the studies and stuff that are going on with LSD for depression and psilocybin and stuff for depression. And those people are like, yeah, no, it's possible. It's very possible. But everybody else is like, no, that's impossible. We have cognitive memories and emotional memories, and there's no way your brain's not developed. It's like, no, I remember that. I wouldn't make it up. I remember.
Yeah.
And when I was a baby, when I was born, my mom, I'm a twin, and my twin sister was still, she hadn't come out yet. And my mom is from Scotland, and she was like, that baby, he's crawling off the table. And the nurses are like, there's no way. I was born in West Virginia. The nurses are like, there's no way the baby's crawling off the table. My mom's like, the baby is crawling off the table. And they're like, calm down, you're on drugs, blah, blah, blah. And they looked over and I went, boom, crawled right off the table.
Oh my
the lady
God.
caught me before I hit my head. But yeah, I remember being born, and I remember it being really calm and really dark, and then really traumatic, and all this crazy stuff happening. And then wham, a big, huge, bright light. And I remember being out, freaked out, and I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm getting the hell out of here. Yeah. So I remember that. And then my mother told me the story, and I go, yeah, that makes sense. I remember all that. And everyone's telling me I'm crazy, but I wouldn't. Wow. I mean, I remember it. I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that would be a very strong push for the argument for reincarnation. Like well, it would be like to have that memory and be like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? I need to get out of here.
Yeah. Like, I've in the last couple years, not to get crazy hippie on you, but yeah, there's some things that I didn't used to believe in that I believe in now. And I think reincarnation is one of them. I definitely think spirituality and, human consciousness is something totally different than I used to think. I used to think we were all just, here once and you're dirt in the earth when it's over and there's no heaven, there's no hell. And I was very atheist, and I don't believe that anymore.
Wow. Okay.
And I would thank psychedelic drugs for that, for one.
That would do it.
But I don't think they're a bad thing. What's happened with, it's been given such a bad stigma. I don't think so. I think I could go into it all day.
Used in moderation.
Absolutely. And used in therapeutic settings and stuff. And there's a lot of things. There's a place called MAPS out in California that is doing, psilocybin studies and MDMA studies. And I've never done DMT. I'd love to. But, LSD studies where they're doing these things that are like 67% of people which is huge. I think 70% of people that do these therapy sessions with psychedelic drugs don't have to come back to therapy, and it gets rid of their depression. And this is a huge margin above antidepressants or therapy, the conventional forms that we've been using for years. And it's working. Numbers are there, so it's not just some crazy hippie dude, man. We're all one kind of thing standing in the field in the 60s. It's a real thing, and it's top of the line scientists and therapists and people with PhDs and that are there. We're right in the middle of this movement getting ready to take hold. And somehow I was already in on it. So
a little bit of a jump start there.
Yeah. I didn't mean to get in on it. I was like, yeah, I'll do some LSD, whatever. And then
all I heard was free LSD.
Yeah. And then this whole thing happened. And then, the more you start to look into it, this big movement's happening. And it's not just, like I said, it's not just long haired dudes that play guitar. It's, there's this big movement happening. Uh-oh, you lost me. My phone went dead for a minute.
That's okay. You're back.
Yeah. So I think there's going to be some really, really, I think there's a big spiritual awakening coming. And there's, they're talking about, the United States is talking about aliens in the sky and
yeah, it's funny. We kind of talk about this every once in a while, and I like to kind of bring that up, time and time again. But to say that COVID happened, everybody's in a panic, and the U.S. slid in. By the way, aliens are real, and really quickly, and then just kind of dropped it. And there hasn't been any major conversation about it, other than the few guests that we've had on the show who have also seen that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I wonder if everyone just goes, we kind of figured that, or they just didn't pay attention. I think, like that's something I always thought. I thought, it's very arrogant to think that we're the only thing in this vast, infinite universe that goes on forever, and we're the only thing. Again, that doesn't make any sense. Just scientifically, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not aware of what's out there, but to think we're the only, it'd just be weird to think that.
Yeah. Well, it's good because you also answered my "Do you believe in aliens?" question, so that's good. We can skip that one.
Very much so. Very much.
What makes you the happiest?
What makes me the happiest? Oh, there's several things. I love to cook. I love to play music. I love to be on the road. I love being around people. My lady she makes me happy every time I look in her eyes. I'm a pretty happy person.
Good.
Yeah, don't like to complain very much. I really enjoy playing music. I really enjoy shooting videos. I just have a good time all the time. Even when things are bad, it's like I still giggle and be like, well, could be worse.
It's true. You know what? Yeah, that's another thing. You guys have some fantastic videos. And I'm always. It really goes to show not only professionalism, but where you guys are in your career, because your videos are top notch compared to a lot of people that are coming out, and they're really, really well done. I was really, really surprised and really pleasantly surprised to see that. So.
We have a lot of really talented friends that we've made over the years, and we do a lot of it ourselves with our friends. Like, when you hire a video company, when I first started out in Bowflex, we would hire a video company, and be two guys show up with a camera and put their hand out for $50,000, and I'd be like, well, the camera don't look that expensive. Fuck it, let's try to do it ourselves. So we did. And then we found some really cool people that we really liked, and Keith Williams from Island Road Media is one of my best friends, and I just call him up and we talk and we take off and go do some videos together. And they look, we started getting really good at it, I think.
That's really cool. Yeah. That's a great way. I think we live in a generation now where people can realize it's not that hard. If you put your mind into it, and you could just do it yourself. And
eventually, eventually that was the thing. It's like, well, a couple of our first videos were a little cheesy. They got better though. just like playing a guitar or anything like that. It's like, when you first pick it up, you're gonna have some learning curves. But I've been lucky enough to be around very creative people and people that really care about the band and are good at their crafts and enjoy working with us. And so we've done a lot of things like that where it's just like, we'll just do it ourselves.
That's the best way.
Same thing with our records. It's like at the studio that I'm at, my best friend runs the studio. It's one of the top. It is the premier studio in Columbus, Ohio. And I've been best friends with him for, gosh, I can't even remember how long. And we just get together and let's make a record.
Yeah. Wow. That's, what, if it was, really, I guess it is that easy. It's just like anything else. The right people, you've got the drive and the want to do it. You just make it happen.
Yeah, you're going to get some shit songs out of it, but every now and then you're going to get a good one. So that's what we try to do, is record enough to where the shit songs go in the trash and the good ones all go on the record.
Yeah. If you could go back and relive any decade, even one that you haven't lived in, which one would you go to?
Shit, I don't know. I like it now. I think the 80s or 90s, probably the 80s. It just seemed like 80s and 90s, before cell phones and all that shit, it seemed like just the live music scene was a little more alive.
Yeah.
I remember hearing stories of, friends of mine that are older, that were in cover bands in the 80s and 90s. And shit, we would go play 2 months and do residencies at places, and shows were packed every night, and people were out. And I'd love to go back to the time where roller skating rinks, movie theaters, and concert venues were full no matter what the hell was going on.
Yeah, it's true. People were out and about. 80s and 90s was probably, in my opinion, the most influential time period for music, let alone just everything else that was going on. You're right. It was right at that point.
It was a lot more racist and a lot more, things have definitely gotten better. I like the time period that we're living in now. I'd like to cherry pick some things from different time periods and put them together. I think now where we live, people are kinder, especially the younger generations are a lot kinder. They're a lot healthier. So, when people are like these millennials or these whatever, I was like, oh man, they're pretty cool. They got it together. They're just, I'm trying not to be the old person that is like, that's just the old man. I don't want to hear that screaming and hollering bullshit. You know what I mean? I'm not that guy. So
For
I
sure.
think I think the time that we're living in now is it's getting better by the day.
Yeah, for sure.
But I
Um,
mean, I think in the '80s and '90s you got paid a lot more for your music. So
that's
that's
true.
what I would like to try to bring to this decade.
Yeah, I think the secret to that nowadays is certain is maybe the right venue. I mean, if people are at home, if people are locked in, and I've actually spoken to several musicians about this, but I really feel like someone's got to team up with Oculus to create virtual reality concerts where it makes it feel like you're right in
Oh,
that concert and at the top front row seat if you want. And that would
that
be
never happens. Never. I hope you can't. That's the one thing we always talk about. It's like, well, you can't download a T-shirt.
it's true.
So it's
It's true. But
how far
you
the music industry goes in that direction. It's like you can't download a T-shirt, so we'll always have that.
but you can create a the full experience package that would get sent to people, including their tour shirt and everything. So I don't
You
know.
can.
Maybe
You
that's
can.
just it's just not the same. It's like what I say. If you want to go to a baseball game, you don't want to watch it on TV. You have to watch it right in the stadium. You need the smell of everything and the hum in the crowd.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's
So
there's. I mean, they are going to get to some place where you can download into your brain that I'm at a concert now, and it might feel crazy cool. I hope I'm gone before then. Maybe I'll be reincarnated. I don't know.
yeah, right. Maybe it'll
But
just
yeah,
be your
I would
your
agree.
maybe it'll be your technical musical spirit that is just still reaching out to people at that point. So
I mean, I totally agree. Though I like growing up in West Virginia, everybody was crazy about NASCAR, and I was like,
yeah.
I can't stand this. And then a friend of mine bought me a ticket and said, "Go, come to the race, and it'll change everything." I was like, "All right, I'll go," and it did. Being that
Wow.
experience and smelling the fuel and hearing the crowd roar and everything, it changed everything. I still don't watch NASCAR on TV, but going to the race was a wildly different experience, and it was a
Oh,
blast.
I bet. Yeah.
Understand it now. Okay, yeah, that was cool.
Yep, for sure. Okay, what was the first movie that made you cry?
Probably Bambi.
Oh, okay, that's a popular one.
Probably Bambi.
Yeah. Everybody got
Yeah, it
sad
was
when
very
it
sad.
yeah.
Very
This is
sad.
one of our newer questions, and maybe given your pee on the toilet seat, you're not sure about this one, but are you a toilet paper over the roll or under the roll kind of guy?
Over the roll.
Over the roll.
Yeah, because it's less like if it's under the roll, you'll use more. And being a
Yeah.
musician, I have to cut costs everywhere I can. Yeah, and I have a cat too, so if it's under the roll, the cat gets it.
Yeah.
And toilet paper became quite the hot commodity this year, so you
It
gotta
really did. It did.
really think about your toilet paper use and really think about where the placement. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
over the roll.
Yeah. When I was back in college, I could get one of the large packs of toilet paper and that would last me almost an entire year. The moment you start dating someone, you got to get that same pack every month. It's
Absolutely.
insane. Yeah. I don't know what that is, but I think that was the biggest shock for me. The moment you start having a relationship, you realize that the toilet paper consumption is off the hook. I don't know what
And
that
it's
was.
got to be the good toilet paper then. You can't
Oh,
just
of
be getting
course.
that.
That's right. You can't get that, the roll that you rip off of a public bathroom that's like paper thin and just as hard to wipe with.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, the finer things in life. That's one of them.
Yeah, for sure. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
All right. What gets on your nerves?
I guess laziness. Laziness gets on my nerves. Complaining gets on my nerves, I guess.
Yeah, I bet you nowadays it would.
Totally negative constantly. It's like, that's enough. You're so unhappy.
I hate to crap all over Facebook, and that's because being one of the places we're streaming on. However, I do find that a lot of people stop using Facebook for exciting and amazing things and just using it as their regular crapping yard and pissing and moaning. And I kind of got
I think
one of the reasons why I really started limiting my use on Facebook. So yeah,
I would agree. I think it's getting better. I think like my news feed on Facebook has definitely gotten a lot more polite and a lot happier. But it got pretty dark there for a little bit. And that's the thing about Facebook is now everyone thinks that they have their own personal blog and their opinions are real important.
Mm-hmm.
I have fallen into that trap several times myself. So I'm not innocent on that. But it's just like for some people are just mean. And it's just like, I just don't want to be around mean people anymore. It's like,
That's good. There's enough of that out there.
Yeah, I don't want to hear people say, if you don't like the song, then I mean, why'd you have to come onto the page and say, I really don't like your song, you're the worst band in the world again? That's cool if you feel that way, and I know people are going to feel that way, but you took the time out of your day to say that? That's weird.
Yeah. That's actually a statistical thing. They say that for every bad experience, you'll have 14 people tell others their bad experience. But if they have a good experience, the likelihood is like a 1% chance, because unless someone actually asks them outright saying, hey, have you heard of these people? And they're like, oh yeah, they're fantastic. People don't come out and tell about popular things or things that they're super like. They normally talk about the things because people love to inherently complain.
I said that false information spreads 70 times faster than true information on the internet, which is bizarre. It's like, okay. I mean, I don't get it. Like I said, I've tried to, you can't be positive all the time. I understand that's unrealistic, but kind of just started cutting the complainers out slowly but surely, like, nah, no more. I give them many chances.
Yeah.
My girlfriend says I give too many chances. But once it's over for me. I'm like a child. Once it's over and I put my hands in front of my face and you no longer exist.
Plug your ears. La, 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 la.
And it's over. You no longer exist to me. It's gone.
Yeah. What was the last thing you did just for yourself?
Bought some jeans.
Okay. Right on.
Jeans for tour. Bought me 4 pairs of black boot cut jeans.
Boot cuts. Right on. Good. Fantastic. Really fantastic jeans. Yeah. I actually have always been one of those people that I've never been happy with jeans until I found the boot cut jean. I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Just amazing. It goes with every type of shoe wear. So.
I look like a guy I look like a cowboy and a guy in a band. This is magical.
It's the perfect combination.
Absolutely. I would agree.
Are you an iPhone or an Android user?
iPhone.
All right. Another one for Apple. What do you do when you can't fall asleep?
I write. Okay. Write constantly. Yeah. And I do have trouble sleeping for some reason. As soon as I lay down, it's like brain goes crazy. So I write, and then in my head usually, and then I have my phone right next to the bed, and I'll start writing stuff down. It's strange when great lyrics will hit you. It's usually at the weirdest time. So I always have my phone on me to make sure I can write stuff down.
Very cool. What activity do you do that makes you totally lose track of time?
Writing.
Writing as well. Well, that's a double-ended answer. Yeah.
Like when we come to the studio, I've worked jobs with 10-hour days and things like that. When I come to the studio, we'll be in here for 10, 12 hours, and I'll look around and I'll get like, oh no, it's midnight. We have to leave. And I'm like, I'm just getting started. So definitely, writing, recording, rehearsing, stuff like that. Where you're inside, when you're in the music, it's like I totally lose track of time.
That's fair.
It's got me in trouble quite a bit over the years.
I bet.
Supposed to be here this time. I was like, oh shit, my bad.
Yeah. It's worse when you're late for dinner, right? I mean, it seems to be you can be late for the evening, but when you've missed dinner altogether, that's when you get in trouble.
It's not good. That's not good.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, what's the best thing you've ever eaten?
I like to cook a lot, and I've got my ribs down.
Okay.
I've been to many different places, and I think I make the best ribs, except for in Atlantic City. There's a place called, what is that place called? I just saw it. They just sent me an email because I stayed there. It's the big place, the Ocean City something. There's a big, huge casino in Atlantic City, the big Ocean City Resort. I think might have the best ribs I've ever had, but I am number 2.
All right. So
rib connoisseur. I've tried a lot.
What is the initial secret to good ribs?
It depends. I don't have a smoker.
Okay.
I know that people smoke them for, some people smoke them for 12 hours and stuff, and I think that tastes great. I think I just cook mine in the oven for like 4.5, 5 hours, and then take them to the grill. But I think it's the rub. I think it's the rub, the sauce, and the cut of the rib. The weirdest thing ever is Aldi had the best ribs that I'd ever had, like that I cooked myself. Giant Eagle, Kroger, I've been to the butcher, all that stuff, looking for the perfect rib. I think Aldi had it. I think
Aldi's
got the best ribs.
Wow.
Yeah,
We had an Aldi's up here, actually. That's the only time I've ever heard the name Aldi's used. That's strange.
Yeah, they have some really good ribs.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, we've got a couple more here. Have you ever had a crush on a television character or fictional character?
Absolutely.
Oh
God, yeah. I remember there's a show called Kids Incorporated when I was younger, and I was in love with this backup dancer, and it ended up being Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Well, there you go. You had good taste there.
And I was like, I love her. And then one day I was like, oh my God, it's her. Like, I mean, I never met her or anything, but it was really weird. Like when she turned up again, I was like, it's her. It was meant to be. My favorite. Yeah, it was Jennifer Love Hewitt. She was in the background dancing in Kids Incorporated, and I was like, woo.
That's very cool. Wow. Actually, I got one more. And the last question for you is, what is the favorite podcast you've been on the last 12 hours?
Yours.
Hey, they're right on. I love when it's no hesitation.
Does that come up a lot? You must have a very popular podcast, sir.
Well, yeah. Actually, it's funny. I think only one other person had said someone else. So, Robert Wall. I like to rip on Robert Wall every once in a while. We got number 2 on Robert Wall, but that's okay. Two still good in our books. So
that's pretty good. Top five.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I got to tell you, I mean, I don't want to hold you up too much more from your rehearsal, but we've really enjoyed having you on the show. Do you have any social media, any charities, anything you want to pitch at all?
If you type in The Lonely Ones, everything you ever wanted about us comes up. We just partnered with this company called Strung that makes jewelry out of our used guitar strings, and they donate to any charity of our choice. And we decided just to let them pick because they seem like they got a good handle on that thing. That happened today. So we,
that's really cool.
So type in The Lonely Ones and go buy our used guitar strings, and it's helping us out, and it's helping out a good cause. And I think they do. The one that we picked was musical instruments for kids in school.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I really love that concept, using the old guitar strings. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like they started this company and they started making them. It's a band that we've toured with several times. They started making the strings on the road, and they said they were just outselling their merch with the guitar string jewelry. It's handmade jewelry. And it's doing really well. So they started a company, and I was like, you should take that to Shark Tank, man. This is going to be big. They got several big artists, and they decided to partner with us, and we were in 100%. Like, yep, sounds like a great idea. I changed my strings every 3 rehearsals and every 3 shows. So here you go. Well, I'll keep you in strings.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. You know what? They're going to be asking for your pecs again soon. So, but that's really cool. So for the listeners that are on the road and not listening to the live feed, we'll make sure that, of course, we post a picture of Marty and the band, and we'll also put a link to their social media and to Strings as well. So I think that's a fantastic concept and a great charity.
Thanks, man. So we start touring in August. August 13th is our first show, and we're back. So we're really excited about it.
Amazing. Well, I'm glad things are opening up there. We're still a little bit of a shut in up here, but I think things are coming along. We'll be hopefully concert bound again really, really soon. So if you're ever up in the Canadian area, make sure you let us know.
We will, man. Thank you so much.
That's awesome. Thank you. You have yourself a wonderful day.
Thanks, man. Later.
Take care.